finance, a la shmup. What is an annuity? Annuity, maybe? Like, the ones that Instagram models advertise. Yeah, those. No, it's not new. But the annu thing there at the beginning of the word, no, nothing to do with proctology. Get your head out of there. The annu is short for annual, and that's the kind of, derivative of the word there that applies. An annuity is a kind of weird insurance policy with hundreds of twists and flavors and special options investors can buy. So let's say that the wonderful Kathy Clueless invests, say $100,000 in an annuity when she's 52 years old. Then she does nothing. From the way the annuity contract is set up, when she, the investor, turns 72, which is when she plans to fully retire from her career as a professional interpretive dancer, she can withdraw $1,000 a month for as long as she lives. So you think, this is a weird shell game, right? Well, she put in $100,000 20 years earlier, and now she gets $1,000 a month for as long as she lives. Well, how long will she live? And what happened to that $100,000? Was that a good deal or a bad deal? Well, first things first, the insurance company will likely have a decent actuarial table to estimate how long interpretive dancers live. That is, they take data on factors like, how often Kathy goes to CrossFit, whether she engages in healthy habits like texting and driving and, the food she eats, and if she takes part in any dangerous activities like, skydiving. And, then they estimate she'll live to be 90. That is, she'll live 18 years after age 72, which is when she starts getting that $1,000 a month, or 18 times 12, and yes, we're going to ignore time value of money here for a moment. That equals 216 months of collecting $1,000 a month from her annuity. And you may think, those insurance companies, they're suckers. They made a bad deal. But then you look at their nice collection of jets and buildings and you think you're probably wrong. Yeah, well, they only took in $100,000 and they have to pay out $216,000. Well, yeah, let's go back to the offices there of Fool's Gold Insurance. Do they look like suckers? No. They actually give suckers to buyers, but that's a different story. So forensically, we go back to the original $100,000 that Kathy gave to the insurance company. Remember that rule of 72? Yeah, that one. Well, you take the compound interest rate at which some investment grows, divide it into 72, and that's how long it takes to double. Well, the insurance company has historically invested in a combo of stocks, bonds, real estate, hedge funds, and other things, such that it gets about 7.2% a year return with a relatively safe portfolio. So then if Kathy Clueless invested $100,000 at age 52, i.e. handed over that $100,000 to the insurance company, so it's all theirs. Yep, then, we divide that 7.2 into 72, and it's 10, meaning it takes 10 years for that money to double. So it'll double by the time Kathy's 62. That $100,000 goes to $200,000 when she's 62, and it still has another decade of compounding before she even touches it. So let's do another rule of 72 doubling with that 7.2 thing, and yeah, that $200,000 has compounded again to double and be worth $400,000 to the insurance company by the time Kathy is 72 and then begins to withdraw cash. Well, to keep the math simpler, let's forget the monthly numbers and just note that she takes out $12,000 a year now, right? Well, that's 12 months times $1,000 a month, and that $400,000 continues to compound again at 7.2%. That is, it grows in value in year one at about $29,000, and the insurance company only has to pay Kathy Clueless $12,000 a year. So at the end of year one, her account is worth $429,000 minus $12,000, or about $417,000. That is, even with the $1,000 a month payout, her account value grew, and with compounding each year, it will grow more than it did the year before, and she'll be withdrawing way less money than the principal will have grown. If she lives to 115, the insurance company will still have done well because in this particular policy, they keep the money at the end. Now, some policies have a life insurance kicker, like had she died before she was 72, her grandkids would get a $500,000 payout, or her original $100,000 would be distributed to her heirs, or the Save the Whales Foundation, or something like that. Or there'd be some other twist and turn that makes the annuity complex and hard to figure out from a mathematics perspective for non-professionals in the insurance biz. Adding to the friction is the fact that there are usually very high commissions and fees charged to people like Kathy Clueless, note her last name there, and they don't realize that if they had just been disciplined and put that original 100 grand in an index fund and forgotten about it, well, they'd have come out vastly better than buying that annuity. So why do people buy annuities in the first place? Well, why did people invest in Enron and bad real estate in places? And, well, some people just aren't financially literate enough to make wise decisions about their future, and they end up investing for retirement in an inefficient vehicle like an annuity, and, talk about bad fuel economy and stuff like that. Well, they have good brokers, though, who really know how to make a commission selling them. Maybe they should have watched this video, right?